Welcome to the deep dive. Ever wondered how some companies just nail it, creating products and services that people actually love to use?
Hmm.
Or, maybe more importantly, how to avoid sinking time and money into things that just flop?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Exactly. Well, today we're diving deep into something that addresses just that, the design thinking framework.
Ah, fantastic topic.
We've pulled insights from a really solid guide on human-centered innovation, our mission, to basically give you the essentials, a shortcut to understanding this really powerful way of solving problems.
And it's more than just a process.
Mm-hmm.
It's really a mindset shift. It
Mm-hmm.
forces you to put users right at the heart of everything,
Right.
which crucially helps validate ideas early. So you cut down on those failures you mentioned. Plus, it naturally encourages collaboration, bringing different perspectives together.
Yeah.
And it pushes teams past their initial assumptions. That's where the real innovation often comes from. It's why you see huge names using it: Apple, Google, IDEO, Airbnb.
Mm-hmm. The big innovators.
Exactly. Designers, product managers, engineers, marketers. It's incredibly versatile.
So let's nail down a definition. What is design thinking at its core?
Well, fundamentally, it's a problem-solving approach rooted in empathy, creativity, and experimentation.
Okay.
It helps teams create genuinely innovative solutions because they start by deeply understanding their users. Then they redefine the problem based on that understanding.
And then generate ideas.
Exactly. Generate ideas and then test them through iteration and feedback. Lots of feedback.
It sounds pretty intuitive when you lay it out like that.
It does, but the trick is applying it rigorously. That's where the real power and sometimes the challenge lies.
So why is it so powerful then? What makes it different?
I think the critical thing is that it forces you to constantly ask, are we solving the right problem? It embeds that validation right from the start.
So you don't build something brilliant that nobody actually needs.
Precisely. That user focus, combined with the back and forth, the iteration, encourages teams to challenge their own biases, explore much wider possibilities.
Okay, so you mentioned stages. I think there are 5 main ones, right?
That's right, 5 stages.
But you also hinted it's not strictly linear.
Definitely not. That's key. You often jump back and forth between stages. It's very fluid. Think of it less like a checklist, more like different modes of thinking you move between.
Got it. So let's walk through them, keeping that non-linear thing in mind. Stage 1, empathize. Understanding the user's needs.
Mhm.
There's a great line in the source. You can't design for someone you don't understand. Pretty much sums it up, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
This first stage is all about building that deep, genuine understanding, not just surface level.
How do you do that? Is it just surveys?
Surveys can be part of it, but real empathy goes deeper. We're talking user interviews, actually watching people in their own environment, field observations, shadowing them maybe.
Okay.
Empathy maps are useful tools too. The goal is to uncover the real pain points, their desires, how they actually work, their frustrations, often things they wouldn't even think to tell you.
The hidden needs.
Exactly. And a common trap here is assuming you know the user because, well, maybe you are a user or you've seen some data.
Right.
But real empathy means setting aside your assumptions. Being open to finding out the problem is totally different from what you thought.
So that task management app example we talked about earlier,
Yeah,
you wouldn't just send out a survey asking what features do you want?
no, definitely not. You'd go talk to busy professionals, watch how they currently manage tasks. Maybe it's sticky notes, emails, multiple apps.
See where they struggle.
Right. Document those frustrations. Try to really get into their shoes, feel their stress maybe. It's about that deep observation and connection.
Okay, so you've done all this research, you're swimming in observations and insights. What's next?
That brings us to stage 2. Define. Clearly articulating the problem.
Right. Because understanding is one thing, but you need focus.
Precisely. This is where you synthesize everything from the empathize stage. You boil it down to a clear, concise, and importantly, actionable problem statement.
And the source mentions something important here. Framing the right problem is more important than solving the wrong one.
That's absolutely critical. This statement becomes the foundation for everything that follows, especially ideation. Get the problem wrong, and the solution, no matter how clever, is useless.
So what makes a good problem statement?
Well, a few things. It has to be user-centered. Focus on the person and their need, not your product idea or the technology.
Okay, user first.
It should also avoid embedding a solution. Keep it open. So not, we need to design a faster onboarding process, but maybe New users feel overwhelmed and confused during their first interaction. See the difference?
Yeah, one prescribes, the other describes the problem.
Exactly. And it needs to be specific enough to give you focus, but broad enough to allow for creative solutions. It's a balancing act. Resist that urge to jump straight to solutions.
So back to the task app example. Instead of, we need a new to-do app, you've defined the problem based on your empathy work as something like, busy professionals struggle to consolidate and track tasks from different sources, which leads to missed deadlines and, feeling stressed.
Perfect. That opens up so many possibilities beyond just another app. Maybe the solution involves integration or automation or something else entirely.
Okay, that makes sense. Clear problem defined. Now for the fun part. Stage 3. Ideate. Generate creative solutions.
Yeah, this is where you let loose. The motto here really is there's no such thing as a bad idea in brainstorming.
Quantity over quality initially.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Suspend judgment completely. The goal is to explore a really wide range of potential solutions. Go broad.
What are some techniques people use here? Just shouting out ideas.
That's classic brainstorming, sure.
Thank
There are
you.
others. Things like Crazy Eight's quick sketching, 8 ideas in 8 minutes, forces you to think fast.
Wow, okay.
Scamper is another, it's like a checklist to modify existing ideas. Mind mapping works well. Even brainstorming the worst possible idea can sometimes unlock surprising insights by flipping assumptions.
Worst possible idea. Interesting.
Yeah, it could break the tension, and sometimes the inverse of a terrible idea is actually quite good. The main thing is generating a long list. You'll filter and refine later.
So for our productivity example, ideas could be anything from, I don't know, gamified checklists,
Sure. Or AI that predicts your tasks.
habit tracking built in, daily summaries read by a voice assistant.
All fair game at this stage.
Yeah.
Or the chair example, maybe it's made of recycled ocean plastic.
Or has adjustable lumbar support that adapts automatically.
Or even, yeah, a built-in heating pad or massager. Why not? Explore everything.
Okay, so you've got this huge list of ideas, some wild, some maybe more practical. What then? You can't build them all.
No, you definitely can't. That leads us to stage 4. Prototype. Build to learn.
Build to learn. I like that. So not building the final product yet.
Not at all. Think quick and dirty, low fidelity.
Right.
The whole point here, and this ties into that philosophy of fail early to succeed sooner, is to make your ideas tangible enough to test your assumptions. To get feedback quickly and cheaply. It's not about perfection. It's about learning.
What kinds of prototypes are we talking about? Are they complex?
They shouldn't be, especially at first. Could be as simple as paper sketches or wireframes for an app.
Okay.
Or digital mockups tools like Figma or Adobe XD are great for this, making something clickable. For a physical product like the chair, maybe just cardboard and tape or foam models.
So really basic stuff.
Yeah, start simple, build just enough to test the key question you have. Is this flow understandable? Is this basic shape comfortable? Don't overinvest time making it look polished yet.
So for the app, maybe a Figma prototype where someone can tap through the main screens for adding a task.
Exactly. See if they understand the flow. For the chair, maybe a rough foam mock-up to just check the basic posture and feel. Get something real, however rough, to react to.
Which leads perfectly into the final stage. Stage 5. Test. Validate with real users.
This is where the rubber meets the road. You put your prototype, rough as it might be, in front of actual users.
And the goal is just see if they like it.
Not just liking it. As the source says, testing tells you what works, what doesn't, and what to fix. You're looking for specific feedback.
What kinds of things should you observe?
You're watching closely. Do they get confused anywhere? Does this rough solution actually address the core problem you defined way back? What parts do they gravitate towards? What do they ignore? What frustrates them?
How do you get this feedback? Just ask them.
That's part of it, user interviews after they interact with it, but also observation usability testing, watching them try to complete tasks. For digital things, A/B testing different versions can work, or looking at analytics.
So for the app, you'd watch someone try to add and complete a task in your prototype. Do they hesitate? Click the wrong thing?
Exactly. And you ask open-ended questions. For the chair prototype, you ask people to sit in it. Is it comfortable? For how long? What's missing? What feels awkward?
And this stage often sends you back, right? It's not necessarily the end.
Almost always. That's the iterative nature we talked about. Testing reveals flaws, or sparks new ideas, or maybe even shows your definition of the problem was slightly off.
So you might go from testing right back to ideate, or prototype, or even define.
Absolutely. It's a loop, or maybe more like a spiral, constantly refining based on user feedback. You test, learn, refine, test again. That's how you move towards a solution that truly works. It embraces that uncertainty.
Yeah, it's not about getting it perfect the first time.
Not at all. It's about learning and improving iteratively.
Okay, this all sounds great in theory, but let's talk real-world impact. Where has this actually made a difference?
Oh, loads of places. Think about Airbnb.
Right, you mentioned them earlier.
They famously used design thinking principles. They really empathized not just with travelers, but with hosts, too. Lived with them, understood their needs.
And that led to changes.
Big ones. Major UI and UX overhauls that made the platform feel safer, more trustworthy, easier to use. That was key to their growth.
Interesting. Any other examples?
Sure. IBM is another big one. They adopted it across the company to rethink their enterprise software. Not just make it look better, but fundamentally improve how developers worked with their tools.
Did it work?
Yeah, they saw significant improvements in workflows, reduced support calls, it addressed the user's actual frustrations,
Okay.
or even a company like PepsiCo. They redesigned packaging, not just for looks, but focusing deeply on the customer experience, how people hold it, open it, pour it. And apparently it boosted sales.
Wow, so it's really versatile.
Incredibly. Which raises the question, right? What could you, listening now, apply this to?
That's a great point. It really drives home that this isn't just for tech startups or product designers. It works for physical products, internal processes, customer service, pretty much anywhere you have a problem involving people.
Exactly. It's a human-centered approach.
So, wrapping this up, if we had to distill the core idea, design thinking isn't just a 5-step process.
No, it's really more than that. It's a mindset.
A mindset centered on
Ooh,
what?
okay.
Empathy.
Empathy, definitely. But also curiosity, experimentation, collaboration, and a bias towards action, building things to learn.
And its real power comes from that broad applicability, doesn't it? Helping build solutions that actually connect with users, whatever your challenge is.
Absolutely. It pushes you to think differently, to turn those tricky problems into innovations that genuinely meet human needs.
So a final thought for everyone listening. Think about your own work, maybe even your daily life. Is there a challenge, big or small, that could use a more human-centered, iterative look?
What assumptions are you holding on to?
And what might happen if you really, truly empathize with the people involved? You might just uncover a surprising, genuinely innovative solution you never expected.